So we continue Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and we continue with loads of tzitzis. So it's a little detailed, but it's that's what we need to cover. So it's, as we said before, Kitzur is a shorter version of the actual Shulchan Aruch. Okay, so it's very minimal. So we left off like in the middle of the Sif number 13. So I'm going to start from the beginning, but without commentary. We just briefly read, so we have continuation. Then it says number 13: when the tzitzis tassel is affixed to the garment, it must be total of 12 thumb breadths in the length. Okay. This Sif discuss halachas that apply when some of the tzitzis string were severed after they had been affixed properly. Okay, so they affixed properly, so and then severed. Okay, tzitzis tassel of one of the 4 tzitzis affixed to each corner of the garment was severed. They are doubled to produce a total of 8 strings. Okay, so basically, okay, so it's there are 4, but then the double, so that's how we got number 8. Okay, and there remained so it's 4 from one side, from another side. I mean from the knot, the final knot, 4 from one side, from another knot, side of the knot, and there remained after it was severed enough string to make a bow. And we said, what is a bow? So bow is we said there is one more lenient opinion. I am saying it was more stringent opinion was 3.2 to 3.8 inches, so which is a lot, and more second opinion was 1.6 inches, so it's like right 1.6 to 1.9. So basically like a very tiny string, like if it still remains. So Rabbi say that you can still use it. Or if 2 strings are severed, but each is more than had 4 thumb breadths remain. Okay, so if in 1 severed or 2 severed, okay, and the other 2 strings were complete, their length being proper measured, 12 thumbnails breadths, right? The tzitzis are valid. So if only 2 severed, right, and then they have this minimum requirement, but 2 are good, so no problem. However, if 3 or 4 were severed, when even if there remain of each of those 3 strings, 4 thumb breadths at length, right? So even so if 4 was severed and even no 3 were severed, and even they 3 have like minimum like requirement length, and the 4th string is complete, or if only 1 string was severed, but there is not but did not remain of it at least that length of 4 thumb breadths, even though the other 3 string complete, the tzitzis must nevertheless be treated as invalid. So if 3 are severed, like minimum requirement, or even 1 severed, but it's less than minimum requirement, so it's not good. Okay, valid except in the present situation. For example, if there is no other tzitzis available. Okay. So all right, so that's what we said so far. Okay, new materials and halacha. Therefore, if one of the strings were severed, of the 8 shorter strings hanging from tzitzis tassel, even if it was completely severed until the braided portion of the tzitzis tassel that contain the links. So meaning that if one was severed and up until the knot, that's what it is. It is clearly still valid tzitzis tassel because this string is actually only half of the 1 string. There is the interesting. There is the half of 1 of 4 long strings inserted in the corner of the garment. So basically, they, as we said, they put 4 and then bend it like together, bend it, and it's going to be 8, right? Now we got 8. So they say even if one is severed, so it's still one like from that it comes from another side of the corner, that it's still complete. I mean, so it's more than so I mean length in general is enough. Yeah. And there is still a second half, as we just said, of the same string, which is another of 8 shorter strings in a Tzitzis tassel. Enough to make a bow, and even more than that, since that side is not been severed. So I mean, it's let's say it's complete, so it's more than one bow, right? And each shorter string starts out 8 thumb braces long. See above. Okay. So basically, I mean, it's all technical details, but they say even if one is severed up until not, but there is still a continuation of it, still good. So they say in present situation, so they can still keep it. Okay. If 2 strings of the 8 are severed, 2 strings of 8 are severed, meaning I didn't say completely, right? And neither of 2 had 4 thumb dresses remain. Okay. If the Tzitzis tassel was made of such a way that there is a reason to be concerned that perhaps the 2 strings are actually 2 ends of the same long string, then the Tzitzis tassel is involved. So basically, if we know for sure there is a same string that severs from 2 sides, so of course it's not good. But I'm not sure how can you tell since they're white. So I mean. I'm not sure how can you tell. Since, but they say if you know for sure, right? Since there may be one string that does not have any length of or fringe remained. Okay, commentary. This situation arises when in the making of the braided portion of the tassel, care was not taken to keep the fringes in one side of the knot. Okay, separate from those on one side and the other. I'm not sure why would they do that, but they say it's not careful. So basically, even though they're supposed to be like 4 on one side, 4 on another side of this knot, but somehow they say that they didn't do it carefully, so it could be like from the same side to strings could be from it's actually the one and the same. Okay, possible, I guess. I mean, just looking at this, the knots, it's impossible to say the way I understand. Okay, so it said the 2 ends of the same side of the knot were severed, right? So right. In that case, the 2 short strings were severed certainly from 2 separate long strings. So if they did it everything carefully. So 4 on one side, 4 on another side. And they actually continuation over each other. So even if 2 on one side were severed, so it's like 2 separate strings. They said there is no problem. Okay, so it's not 2 sides of one, it's two ends of different one. And since in this case each one string still has even more than minimum amount, so from one side of course, of 4 thumb dresses, on the second side of the knot, and the other 2 long strings are complete, the Tzitzis tassel remain valid. So basically, if it's length enough, so basically he can, the way I understand, he can retie them, and it would be enough, like minimum requirement of both sides of this severed Tzitzis. That's the way I understand. That's okay. So let's continue. Even if one string was severed, at the part of the string that is between the hole of the corner of the garment and the first knot, the Tzitzis tassel is valid. Very interesting. So now we're talking about the upper part when this Tzitzis is tied to the garment. So even if one of them was severed, they say no problem. The Sif ends with the one qualification regarding these halachas. Regarding that which we said, that if one strings were severed and it had the sufficient length to make a bow still remaining, it is still valid. So that's bottom line, right? So even on one side there is enough side to make a bow, so it's valid. This applies only if at the time that the tzitzit tassel was made, when they were actually affixed to the corner of the garment, all of the tzitzit string were a required measurement, 12 thumbnail braces long. Okay. And only afterwards, so basically in the beginning, initially when they tied it to the garment, they were good. So, and only like after the fact something happened. And only afterwards were some of them severed. However, if at that time that the tzitzis was made, there was even one string that was even slightly shorter than the required measure, the tzitzis tassel is invalid. So basically, if it was made correctly and then something happened, so we can find some room for leniency. But if it was tied incorrectly, I mean, it was like not long enough length when they were tying it, so it's not valid. Okay, even after the fact.